And it'll sound like battle music.
So you already pushed the music button. Okay,
Did
so
anyone
Kellie,
look at
go
the...
for it.
Alexa, open
You got this.
You Got This Brutadon.
Welcome to You Got This Brutadon, a game where you must use your voice in the name of true friendship. Make sure Alexa can hear you clearly, and make sure no one will be disturbed by your cacophonous shouting. If this is your first time playing You Got This Brutadon, shout, "Pump it up Brutadon," to begin the tutorial. If you would like to skip the tutorial, shout "Recon Brutadon."
Pump it up.
We begin long ago, in middle school, when you and Brutadon first became fast friends. Brutadon was the only kaiju in your 6th grade class, and he towered 7 stories above all the other students. When they made fun of him, you used to shout, "Wreck-'em, Brutadon."
Wreck 'em, Brutadon.
When your classmates made fun of Brutadon, you used to shout, "Wreck-'em, Brutadon."
Wreck 'em.
After Brutadon had killed 25 of your classmates, no one ever made fun of him again. He learned that you were the only one who truly had his back. Your friendship continued into adulthood. You became a personal trainer, and Brutadon came to rely on your coaching and support. Whenever he was training for the big kaiju fight that he knew was his destiny, you would shout, "Pump it up, Brutadon."
Pump it up, Brutadon.
Brutadon pumped it up indeed. Soon, his 7 biceps were each bigger than cement trucks, and his glutes thundered across the plains. But his training didn't always go perfectly. Sometimes, Brutadon worried about whether he was really strong enough to meet his fate. Whenever he was feeling down, you tell him, "You got this, Brutadon."
You got this, Brutadon.
With your emotional support, Brutadon could achieve anything. Before long, the whole world knew of Brutadon's strength, and he was very popular on social media. Journalists and YouTubers often made the trek to the airplane hangar in the middle of the desert where you and Brutadon trained for the big fight. Brutadon hated the press. When he got antsy about all those visitors, you'd urge him not to stomp on anybody. You said, "Hold back, Brutadon."
Hold back, Brutadon.
You and Brutadon were a good team. Brutadon didn't always make the best decisions on his own. He relied on you to channel his raw strength into action. But one day, the Pacific Ocean churned, and from the dark and mysterious depths emerged Gromulox, a kaiju terror even bigger and badder than Brutadon. It cut a swath of destruction across Seattle, Redmond, Kirkland, and Bellevue, Washington. When you and Brutadon arrived at the scene, it was a sober moment for both of you. You stood in silence and looked at the destruction.
You got this, Brutadon.
You and Brutadon locked eyes. You both knew that this was what you had been training for. His destiny had arrived. Brutadon followed in Gromulox's wake of destruction. Soon, the two stood face to face in the skyscraper-filled city of Franklin. Everyone held their breath as the two kaiju prepared to battle. But you knew that Brutadon needed your help to win. Suddenly, Gromulox leapt forward with his poison fangs bared. Brutadon froze. Should he wreck it? Should he pump it up? Did he need to hear, "You got this, Brutadon"? Did he need to hold back?
Pump it up.
Brutadon flexes, and Gromulox is shocked by both the quantity and quality of his gigantic muscles. He freezes in place, suddenly aware that this will be a very difficult fight.
Nice.
In the midst of furious battle, Brutadon begins to execute an extremely difficult and complex combination that he has practiced over 2,000 times. You sense that this time, Brutadon is in the zone, and maybe you shouldn't distract him.
You got this, Brutadon.
Your cries of support, although well-intentioned, shatter Brutadon's focus. He whips a 7th middle back punch and tumbles mightily to the ground. Brutadon smells a delicious panini cooking in a nearby restaurant. Oh no, it's distracting him.
Hold back.
Brutadon successfully restrains himself. Now is the time for deadly battle, not for paninis. Perhaps coincidentally, and certainly unfortunately for the pilot, an attack helicopter is flying by overhead. Gromulox performs an astonishing bicycle kick and suddenly the whirling blades are flying straight towards Brutadon.
Wreck it.
Brutadon attempts to punch the metal meteor, but the spinning blades rip his hand to shreds, rendering his fourth arm useless. A tangled mass of hand flesh dangles from his wrist.
That's horrible.
That's amazing.
Gromulux charges at Brutadon with his shoulder needles set to full bristle.
Warning, graphic content. Hold back. Oh.
This is an urgent problem and Brutadon doesn't have time for your incoherent mumblings. Say Rec M, pump it up. You got this. Or hold back. Brutadon and Gromulux are underwater.
Skips ahead
You
there.
float on the surface,
It didn't
watching
say
as
the
they slowly
failure
circle
next.
one another. Fish flee,
No, it didn't
burrowing
loop.
into the nearest coral
So what,
structure.
we don't have it looping right now.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna have to
Hold back.
redo stuff.
Gromulux, coming from the ocean, is the most nimble ocean fighter, but Brutadon is the most patient. Brutadon dodges and blocks all of Gromulux's blows. He waits for an opening, and then he takes that opening and puts Gromulux into a painful underwater leg triangle. Nice. Brutadon stands over Gromulux, punching him again and again in the face. But an airplane is coming in for a landing at the city airport, and Brutadon's head is right in the way.
Hold back.
At the last second, Brutadon steps back, and the plane whizzes right through where he was standing. Close call. Everyone in the airplane is probably pooping their pants. Brutadon's cell phone rings in the middle of the fight. You can tell from his anxious growls that it's his tax preparer. This call is too important for him to skip.
Wah, 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 wah.
Ignore. Ah.
Brutadon can't hear you over the voice of his tax preparer.
Good. That
Say
works.
Rec M, pump it up. You got this. Or hold back.
But it still doesn't loop.
We haven't done that. 100% done that.
I mean, I wrote it
Gromulux
down.
knocks over the city's largest bank, pinning Brutadon beneath its financial hulk. Brutadon sobs and sniffles in shame.
Pump it up.
Brutadon flexes his giant muscles, and the bank shatters into a million pieces. Gromulux gasps in terror. Brutadon and Gromulux stumble into the middle of an illegal street race. High-powered customized cars, covered in knives and driven by howling wasteland rabble, zoom straight at their toes.
So Mad Max then, huh? Hold back.
Brutadon roars at the cars. The force of his breath is strong enough to send them skidding back down the road. The street racers crop their pants, bail out, and run away. Nice.
There's not another, like, multiple instances of
Gromulux
people crapping
reaches
their
into
pants?
his throat and pulls out a rusted nuclear test device he found on the ocean floor. Holy crap.
Wreck it.
Brutadon rushes forward, grabs the nuke, and dives into the sea. It explodes, killing millions of fish and injuring him gravely. He may have gigantic, oozing, nuclear, oceanic sores all over his body, but at least the city is saved.
Jesus Christ.
But as the battle wears on, you can see that Brutadon is getting more and more weary. His 7 shoulders sag. His emotion sac is dull gray. Each of his punches is weaker than the last. Gromulux has simply outlasted him. In the end, there is nothing you can do but watch as Gromulux fires his parasitic egg missiles into Brutadon's wounded side, where they will fester and grow into baby Gromuluxes, each more terrifying than the last. You weep bitter tears as Gromulux shoves your friend's mangled corpse out to sea, headed for the deep-sea kaiju breeding grounds. But in the end, you shared something special with Brutadon. You will always remember his craggy smile, his giant biceps, and the pure honesty of his perfect soul. In the days to come, the city will hold a state funeral for Brutadon, their most perfect son. God bless you, Brutadon. You were the best of us. The end.
Yes, good. Very good.
I kind of want to play like, what is it, taps like dur dur dur.
I want to try to